Can you name 20 things that your child absolutely loves? Not 5, not 10, but 20. A lot of parents can't do that, and that is completely normal. But by the end of today's video, I think you're going to be surprised by how many reinforcers you've been overlooking, because the better you know what motivates your child, the easier it becomes to teach new skills. Welcome back to week 2 of the 7-week Reinforcer Challenge. Last week, we talked about why rewards don't always work. If you missed that video, definitely go back and watch it because today's lesson builds on it. We learned that a reward isn't always a reinforcer. A reinforcer is something your child actually wants enough that it increases the likelihood that they'll do that behavior again in the future. Today, we're going to answer the next question. How do you figure out what actually motivates your child? The answer isn't guessing. It's becoming a detective. We are a mother-daughter team, and we created Autism Parenting Simplified to walk alongside families to help give them practical steps. As a behavior analyst, that's my daughter, and a special educator, that's me, one of the biggest things that we've learned from working with hundreds of families is that children are constantly giving us clues. Most of us don't know we're supposed to be looking for them. Imagine you're a detective assigned to solve a mystery. You don't walk into the room and make a wild guess. You collect evidence. You notice patterns. You pay attention to details. That's exactly what we're going to do with your child. Instead of asking, what reward should I use? We're going to start asking, what does my child naturally choose? Because here's something that's really important. Your child is already showing you what they love every single day. Maybe they always run to the swing. Maybe they ask for the same song over and over. Maybe they light up when grandma comes over. Maybe they love spinning in circles, or maybe they could spend an hour lining up toy cars. Those aren't random preferences, they're clues. Can you think of one thing that your child chooses over and over again? Pause for a second and think about it, and then tell me in the comments. I'd love to see what your children enjoy because every answer is different. One of my favorite things about reinforcement is that there is no right answer. I've worked with children who would almost do anything for pretzels. Others could care less about food and would want to work hard for just hearing their favorite song. One little boy I taught absolutely loved elevators, not riding them, just watching the doors open and close. His parents had never thought of that as something that they could use during learning. But once they did, everything changed. Here's an analogy. Imagine I offered everyone watching this video the exact same birthday present. Some of you would love it, and some of you would politely smile, and some of you would secretly wonder if you could return it tomorrow. Children are exactly the same way. What excites one child may mean absolutely nothing to another. That's why reinforcement is never one size fits all. So, where do you start looking? We have found that almost every reinforcer fits into one of the 7 categories. Let's go through them together. Activities is the first category. Does your child love swinging, jumping, playing chase, water play, dancing, tickles? Movement can be incredibly motivating. The second category is foods. This one is obvious, but don't stop at candy. Maybe your child loves strawberries, or goldfish crackers, pretzels, apple slices, popcorn, or tiny marshmallows. The next category is toys. Favorite toys are great reinforcers. They have things like cars, magnetiles, puzzles, dinosaurs, Legos, action figures, whatever keeps them coming back for more. Now, let's talk about the categories parents often overlook. People is one of them. Some children are highly motivated by spending time with certain people. When I was the principal at a school for students with special needs, there was a particular student that for some reason I just really bonded with him and he really enjoyed spending time with me. He would do anything in order to eat lunch with me or to come sit on a beanbag in my office for 5 minutes. So you just never know. People can be very motivating. People like grandma, dad, a favorite sibling, even the family dog. Don't underestimate how reinforcing attention can be. Another category that people sometimes overlook is sensory experiences. This is a big one. Bubbles, swinging, music, spinning, Play-Doh, kinetic sand, watching ceiling fans, looking at lights, deep pressure hugs. Some children seek sensory experiences far more than toys. Another one we overlook sometimes is routines. Believe it or not, some children are motivated by doing the same routine every single day. Closing the garage door, turning off the lights, pushing the grocery cart, pressing the microwave buttons, helping start the washing machine. Those routines can become powerful reinforcers. And another overlooked category is places. Finally, think about places: the playground, the trampoline park, the library, the backyard, the pool, the car wash. Car wash is a good one. I've had students in the past that love the car wash. Even a trip to the mailbox can be exciting for some children. So here's the challenge. Can you really come up with 20 possible reinforcers? Most parents think the answer is no. By the end of today's video, I think you'll be surprised. Now that you know where to look, let's talk about how to look. One of the biggest mistakes parents make is asking themselves, what do I think my child likes? Instead, you should ask, what does my child choose when no one is telling them what to do? That question changes everything. Think about free time. Imagine it's Saturday morning, there are no demands, no therapy, no homework, no one's asking your child to clean up or get dressed. What do they naturally gravitate toward? Do they head straight for the trampoline? Do they find the iPad? Do they pull you toward the pantry? Do they grab your hand because they want you to play chase? Those are powerful clues. As a behavior analyst and a special educator, my daughter and I, we spend a lot of time watching children. Not because we're doing nothing, but because observation tells us way more than guessing ever could. I'd love to hear from you. What's the first thing your child usually does after school or first thing in the morning? Leave it in the comments. It might help another parent realize they've been overlooking a great reinforcer. Here's another clue every reinforcer detective needs to know. Reinforcers change, and that is completely normal. Think about yourself. Maybe your favorite restaurant today isn't the same one it was 5 years ago. Maybe some days you want coffee and other days you'd rather have iced tea. Our preferences change depending on the day, our mood, and even how tired we are. Children are no different. One week your child might love bubbles, the next week they can't stop asking to swing. That doesn't mean you did anything wrong, it just means your detective work never really stops. You're always paying attention, you're always collecting clues. That's one reason we encourage families to keep an ongoing reinforcer list instead of trying to find one perfect reward. We also made and created our own reinforcer list for ideas. If you'd like to have that, I can put the link below. Let's talk about a few common mistakes we see, and don't worry, these are incredibly common. Mistake number 1, assuming your child only likes toys. Some of the strongest reinforcers we've ever used weren't toys at all. We've used turning lights on and off, pushing elevator buttons, watching a washing machine spin, listening to a favorite song, taking a walk outside. Don't limit yourself to the toy aisles. Mistake number 2, thinking food is always the best reinforcer. Food can be effective, but it's not the only option. Some children would happily trade a cookie for 5 minutes on a swing. Mistake number 3, giving up after naming 5 things. Most parents stop too early. The goal isn't 5, the goal is 20, because having lots of options makes teaching much easier. If I were doing this challenge with you, here's exactly what I would do. The first step, I would carry a note in your phone. Every time your child smiles, asks for something, or keeps returning to an activity, write it down. The second step that I would take is look through all 7 categories. Don't stop after toys. Think about people, places, routines, movement, music, and sensory experiences too. The third step, watch for repeated choices. One-time interests are nice, repeated choices are better clues. Step 4, ask other caregivers, grandparents, teachers, babysitters, therapists. They may notice reinforcers that you haven't seen. And step 5, keep adding to your list. The goal isn't to finish today. The goal is to become more observant every day. All right, detective, here's your assignment. I want you to create a list of 20 possible reinforcers for your child. And remember, don't stop with toys. Include activities, foods, toys, people, sensory experiences, routines, places. At first, 20 might sound impossible, but once you start paying attention, I think you'll surprise yourself. And here's the best part. There are no wrong answers. We're simply gathering clues. Next week, we're going to use that list to start figuring out which of those reinforcers are actually the most powerful. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you of something important. You don't have to become an expert overnight. The goal isn't to have the perfect list. The goal is to start seeing your child through a different lens. Instead of asking, why won't my child do this? You'll start asking, what is my child telling me they value? That is a powerful shift in the mind. And it's one that can change not only how you teach, but how you connect with your child every single day. Celebrate the small discoveries. They often lead to the biggest breakthroughs. Next week, we're taking your detective work one step further. By now, you'll have a great list of possible reinforcers, but here's the question. How do you know which ones are actually the strongest? In week 3, you're going to learn how to rank your child's reinforcers so you'll know exactly what to use when teaching new skills. You won't want to miss it because this is where everything starts to come together. If today's challenge helped you start seeing your child's interests in a new way, we would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell us one surprising reinforcer that you discovered today. Your idea might spark an aha moment for another parent. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Autism Parenting Simplified, and share this challenge with another parent who could use a little encouragement. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us today. Remember, every observation you make brings you one step closer to understanding what truly motivates your child. We're going to see you next week in week 3 of the 7-week Reinforcer Challenge.